I really tell you, I feel like we had something. I knew we had something special when we sat in that room before one video was shot, before one damn thing was done. Because it just, you look around the room, there's just everywhere you look at, there's people that are fucking deadly good at riding a skateboard, and Mike's a highly motivated guy who's up to that point in my life. I'd seen him just make everything happen. So there was a lot of motivation in that room and a lot of talent in that room. So I felt like it was the right room to be in. Yeah, I think the floodgates had opened for people to be creative, and there was all kinds of different schools going on. There was technical schools. Ray Barbie was, going for it. Jason Lee was technical. There was Tom Knox. There was a lot of skateboarders that were pushing just all these envelopes: speed, hauling ass, being technical. I just think once it opened up where people could go, okay, I can do. People that wanted to go big can go big, and Duffy started going big, and these guys, it's just, people started really pushing it. I would say the TransWorld SKATEboarding has a huge influence on skateboarding. I think it is, in my mind, it has always maintained its status as like the king of skateboard magazines. It's always been right there. The photography has always been stunning. I think in my heart of hearts, I always think I look at it to be like a step above. It's like the skateboard magazine that's done by artists, and the photography is brilliant. I mean, you can just go on a list of photographers that have worked for this magazine, and they're pretty genius and creative artists. Mix that with a true 100% love of skateboarding, and you're gonna have a great magazine. I got a Pro Spotlight. And when that Pro Spotlight came out, that had changed my life. It changed my whole situation. That was kind of like the pinnacle of what I was doing and what we were filming and how we were skating. And then I got this Pro Spotlight, and it went out. And I think my interview, people from any walk of life could read it and understand it. I think it was kind of more from a working man's perspective than some posh or some fancy. What changed for me is I'd go anywhere and people know who I was then. After that interview, people knew who for real knew who I was, like anywhere in the world as a skateboarder, which was different. Well, I like Dan just because you never knew what you were going to get when you saw him. You never knew what side of Dan you were going to get. I mean, sometimes he'd be real quick and angry with you, and the next minute he'd be joking. He always had some like nuttiness that was about to happen, or he was setting up. I mean, for him, I think it was about making the photography and making things look just unbelievable. He wanted things not only to be technically on a skateboard well, but he wanted all of it to visually just blow people away. And you could tell that's what his gig was. But for him, I think half the fun was, it really wasn't actually shooting the picture. It was all the bullshit that it took to get to that point. It was, hopefully breaking some laws, hopefully getting ourselves in a situation that may or may not get somebody killed. More of that, the more that he loved it, And he used to come, to my house and just crawl in my window and be like, okay, get up. And everybody out, people were hungover, like, who's this crazy dude in the house? And like, we're gonna go skate. He called it walking the line. So he would go, we're gonna walk the line today. And that was like his nickname for, we're gonna put you, Matt, in this terrible situation that you may get killed in, but I'm gonna take my camera, so don't worry, we'll get the shot. So that's what he just come up with things that would be kind of death-defying to some degree before people took that to the ultimate limit. I have to say it was probably Mark Gonzales. Just because as a street skater, or as a guy who likes to ride skateboards down the street sometimes to ramp, the way he does what he does, just it affected skateboarders. It affected me, and you wanted to be part of that. And I say that also because not just how he skateboarded, but how he looks at life and how he looks at what you skateboard. I mean, just watching him skate made me skateboard different. And made me look at things differently. Like I would stop looking at that like you can't do anything on that. Instead of that, look at it like what can you do on it, and there is no no in it. You can just do whatever you want to do. Free yourself of that shit, and you can. I think it opens you up as a skateboarder, and I kind of learned that just by watching Mark skate.